It's December, my friend, which means that things could start to feel a little bit more challenging when it comes to food and how you feel about your body. So in this episode, we're talking about 6 reasons why food feels harder at the end of the year. And some of these you likely have never thought about. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Live Unrestricted podcast, a show where you'll learn how to heal your relationship with food and your body so that you can focus your time and energy on more important things like your personal growth. I'm your host, Sabrina Magna, food freedom coach, and my mission is to help make your life happier and healthier without stress, overwhelm, or guilt about food. If you love the show, please do go out and share it. And if you're looking for support with your relationship with food, details about my programs are in the show notes. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now let's jump in. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. I'm so glad that you're here. Can you believe that we are already in December? What, where did this year go? I don't know about you, but I feel like it flew by. And now we are just in the rush of the holidays. And I want to talk about it because I know that this is a time of the year that can be really tough when you struggle with food and there might be like some body image issues coming up for you. So in this episode, we're talking about 6 reasons why food feels harder at the end of the year. A lot of these reasons actually have nothing to do with food. And the reason why this is important to talk about is because I know that a lot of you hold on to a lot of judgment and self-criticism and you blame yourself. And I want to move away from that to give you an understanding of why is this actually so hard? What is going on underneath the surface? Because awareness, although it's not the whole picture, can give you a lot of power and can help you really get clear on what you have control over. So before we get into that, I want to say that I do apologize that I wasn't able to release an episode last week that talked about Thanksgiving. It was totally my intention. I actually had a coaching call with my Food Freedom Academy members on the day of Thanksgiving on Thursday. And there was a lot of amazing questions around setting boundaries with family members and conversations around food and weight and dieting. And I got an amazing question about how I handle holidays. Like from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, what are the things that I do, that I don't do, that I focus on? So we got to talk a lot about those things on our coaching call. And I really wanted to be able to release an episode to help you guys, but I was recovering from tonsillitis. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen some of my stories that this girl was struggling. I was on the struggle bus. Luke got the flu. I don't know how it is in your hometown, but in Montreal right now, the flu is hitting everyone. So Luke got the flu. I thought I was out of the woods. And then a couple of days later, like a week later, I started getting a sore throat. And then it just evolved into tonsillitis. I couldn't speak for over 3 days. It was tough. And so I could not record a new podcast episode. I couldn't really do much. So we're really going to focus on ways, strategies, things that you can do leading into the holidays to support yourself and to reclaim your joy around a time that is supposed to be enjoyed. You're supposed to spend time with family. And I also want to say that I know that everyone's holiday season looks very different. And I'm actually going to talk about that in this episode. That for you, it might be a really hard time of the year. Maybe you don't have a great relationship with your family. Maybe this brings up a lot of grief or past issues. And so we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it in this episode because there's a lot of pressure But I do just want to say right off the bat that if you are one of those people who has a very different experience of the holidays, there's nothing wrong with you, and you are so not alone in that. So let's talk about December. There's a lot going on. And if you are feeling like you're already behind and the month has just started, there is so much to do. I mean, I definitely know that I'm feeling that way. I have all of these gifts to buy and these like loose ends to tie up. And maybe for you, you feel like you're already thinking about food and your body way more than usual. Maybe your schedule is all over the place and you can't keep any kind of routine. Maybe you're already tired and we're not even in the actual holidays yet. Whatever you're feeling right now, I want to talk about the 6 reasons why food feels harder in December. So reason number one is that you are more tired than you think. By December, your brain and your body have already lived through 11 months of responsibilities, deadlines, emotions, decisions, family needs, work stress, mental load. So you're not starting December fresh. You're starting it most likely depleted. It's like the way I like to think about it, I'm a very visual person, is that throughout the year, you've got like this backpack on. And throughout the year, all of the things that get thrown your way are like these rocks that get added to your backpack. And they become heavier and heavier and heavier. And we don't realize how much we are carrying with us until eventually, for some people, it leads to burnout or exhaustion. But we are here. We're in the last month of the year. For a lot of us, it's cold, it's dark. And when your body is tired, it naturally craves fast pleasure. When your brain is exhausted, it becomes louder about wanting anything that will give it a quick hit of relief. So for a lot of you, that might be food. That's the conditioned response that you've created, right? This is what I see often is when I'm tired, I'm just used to turning to food in order to feel a boost of energy. And I will say in some situations, like you actually absolutely need to be doing that because some people are depleted and undernourished. And so they're exhausted because of that. But there might also be situations where you are nourished, you are fed, but you're just exhausted. You are depleted. So it's important to be able to differentiate between being underfueled and undernourished and actually needing to give yourself some food. And when you are just exhausted and if possible, giving yourself some rest, some care, some self-love, some sleep. I know that December is not easy, but being able to at least identify what's going on can put a lot of power back in your hands because a tired nervous system will often reach for the easiest form of comfort. And for a lot of you, that is often food. So that's the first thing, is that we are more tired than we give ourselves credit for. And I am right there with you. I am tired, my friend. I actually had to have a mid-afternoon coffee before recording this episode, which I never ever do. And there's a lot that goes into why we are so exhausted. But I just want to say that, like, I'm right there with you. We're all right there with you. And you're not alone. The second reason why food might feel harder for you this month is that your routine might be completely thrown off, and that can mess with your eating, right? Like December disrupts everything. Your work schedules, school schedules, social schedules get filled up like crazy. Sleep schedules might change as well. Even grocery shopping gets weird. And I personally am a big girl of routine and of structure. And I think that the fact that I've developed such an ability to be flexible around food and navigate change, it really serves you. It serves you and it serves your relationship with food because you're able to adapt. Let's say that I have a later dinner or I have a brunch where normally I would eat breakfast before. Like, I'm really able to adapt and know, okay, well, I'll just eat a little bit there and I'll eat a little bit more here, and things can change. But if you are new to this work, new to getting to know your body, new to flexibility around food, that could be really tough. Maybe you're very used to having this, like, I eat breakfast at this time, lunch at this time, dinner at this time. Maybe you have this like very militant way of eating. Or on the opposite side, maybe there is no structure whatsoever. So you throw even more things into your calendar, and now it's even more out of order and all over the place. And one of the things that I hear often from women who are at the beginning of their intuitive eating journey is, Sabrina, I can do really well when I'm at home and I'm cooking my own meals and it's kind of like this repetitive routine that I'm in. But then when I go out to dinner or when I am not the one who's in control of my food or when I'm around people, it feels a lot harder. So the same applies to when you're out of your routine and you're going out more. You might have an easier time eating intuitively while you're at home because you're still building that muscle. A really good analogy is when you're first learning to drive, you're really attentive. And I remember I could not multitask. Like if someone was trying to have a conversation with me in the passenger seat while I was learning how to drive, I just couldn't do it. I had to have all of my focus on the road, on what I'm doing, on all of these little things that I have to check and all these little things that I have to do. Well, now, thankfully, I can do a lot of different things while I'm driving. Obviously, I don't, but I can have conversations because it comes really naturally to me. So same goes for eating intuitively and listening to your body and having ease with food. At the beginning, the muscle might not be super strong or on autopilot quite yet. It might not feel the most natural. It might feel like you're putting a lot more effort into it. So throw in distractions, throw in disruptions to your routine, throw in, a little bit of chaos and messiness that comes with December. It's going to be a little bit harder. And if that is you, let me just say that beating yourself up is not going to do you any good, like at all, because all it's going to do, it's going to reinforce this belief. I can't do this. See, I always fall back into my old patterns. You might shame yourself. And how does that feel? It feels really bad. It feels really stressful. And the last thing that you need is more stress during this time, because stress is just going to lead you to eat more, because maybe at this point you're just going to throw in the towel, throw your hands up and say, well, screw it. I guess I'm just going to binge during the whole holiday season and start again in January. And that is not what we want to do, my friend. So really give yourself compassion. If you're finding it a little bit more difficult to navigate eating during the holidays, you want to just do your best and focus on the things that you can do. Focus on the things that you can control. So that's reason number 2 why food feels harder over the holidays is that your routine gets disrupted. Maybe you're eating more reactively instead of intentionally. Reason number 3 is that emotional intensity rises, even if you pretend you're fine. Holidays amplify everything. Can we agree on that? It amplifies joy in some circumstances. It also amplifies pressure, nostalgia, loneliness, family dynamics, grief. All of it comes up at once. It is a complicated time, guys. Even if you're not consciously thinking about it, your body, your nervous system feels it. And when emotions become too big or too heavy to sit with, especially when you don't have time or you don't have the tools to process them, that's a really big one, because oftentimes what happens is people aren't able to recognize the early warning signs, I guess I'm going to say warning signs, quote unquote, that come up in your body of like these weird, uncomfortable emotions. Well, then it starts to build up and build up and build up, and it makes you feel really destabilized, really ungrounded, really uncomfortable, but you might not know why. I'll give you an example. I think it was last week or over the weekend, like it was very recently. I was feeling a level of discomfort, like I was feeling some uncomfortable emotions related to work, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And I literally told Luke, I was like, Luke, I'm feeling like there's no way to describe because I don't know what I'm feeling yet. I don't know what I'm feeling yet. I don't know what emotion I'm feeling yet. And I don't know where it's coming from, but I know that there is something there. And I do not want to just bypass it. I don't want to ignore it. I don't want to keep forcing and pushing it down because the thing is, it's not going to go away. And I know that if I don't sit with it, even if right now it's like this little tiny, tiny thing, well, what's going to happen is if I don't figure out what that is, over time, it's just going to build and build and build. And I'm going to carry that with me while I'm working. And then eventually it's really going to interfere with me and with my work. And I don't want that. So because I've been, over the past few years, it's been a practice for me to really connect with my body, not just with my hunger, fullness, satisfaction cues, which obviously are really important, but a little bit, I guess, advanced strategy is like connecting to how am I feeling emotionally. So I was able to notice, I don't know what's going on, but I am feeling something weird. So I went in my room, I got my journal, and I just started writing. And I didn't know what I was going to write about. I didn't know, I just started writing. And then finally, I was able to first pinpoint, what am I feeling? And I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling overwhelmed because I had all of these different projects that I wanted to work on, but I hadn't created any kind of priority on which one was the most important, which one I was going to start with, what order I was going to do them in, and any kind of timeline. So what was happening is I had all of these like open tabs in my mind, all of these projects that I wanted to tackle all at the same time. So of course I was feeling this level of pressure and this overwhelm and a lack of clarity. So by taking this time to really ask myself, what am I feeling right now? And where is this coming from? I was able to detangle the mess that was going on in my mind, create order. Because think about it, like if you're living in a messy house and there is shit everywhere and your closet's a mess and your kitchen's a mess, you're going to feel like a mess. Like At least I would. I don't do well in messes. I like a clean environment. And we often live in messes in our minds that are so disorganized. So taking the time to get clear on what am I feeling? Where is this coming from? Can actually take a lot of weight off. So going back to that third reason why food can feel harder during the holidays, this isn't about the food, but it's about a lot of the emotions that get amplified during this time. And your brain looks for the quickest way to feel a sense of relief or escape or distraction from that discomfort. So this is not because you're broken, but because you haven't been taught another way to regulate yourself when you are overwhelmed or feeling those big emotions without turning to food. Let's move on to reason number 4, why food feels harder over the holidays. Oh my goodness, this is a big one. The pressure and expectations that we either set for ourselves or the pressure that we feel from others or the pressure that is internally generated. So December can bring a unique concoction of diet thoughts. I need to be good before the holidays, right? Like you're going to see maybe some family members who are deep in diet culture who you expect might make a comment about the way that you look. So there's this pressure to lose weight or feel good in your body before the holidays. There's also, of course, maybe this old thought of I'm going to start fresh in January. Don't worry. I'm going to be releasing some episodes over the next few weeks all around how you can set yourself up for a healthy relationship with food in 2026. I've got you. I've got your back. I'm going to help you because I want to make sure that you do not fall back into the yo-yo diet cycle that got you here. So let's please alt delete that thought from your mind that I'm going to start fresh in January. But no matter what, even if you don't want to have that thought or fall back into that old pattern, if that has been like your way of thinking for years or decades, and it is like really deeply imprinted into your brain's neural pathways, then it might still come up for you. And this is an opportunity for you to do the work to rewire your mind, because your mind is like this, it has all of these complex networks where your thoughts that you've repeated enough times gets physically imprinted into your brain. So knowing how to rewire those thoughts, those beliefs, those cognitive patterns is so incredibly important, because chances are you don't want to fall back into that pattern. And you might notice that you're really fighting that thought of like, I'm going to start fresh. Things are going to be different in January. I mean, I used to do these no dessert January for years because I would binge so hard during the holidays, and I would eat so many desserts because my mom is such a good baker. And then I had this anticipation that I was not going to eat desserts for all of January. So what do you think I did? I ate even more desserts, binged even more during the holidays because of the anticipated restriction. But going back to that increased pressure and expectation, there might also be the thought of, I don't want to gain weight this month. Going back to, I'm going to be around a lot of people, and people might make comments and they might say things. So you might subconsciously be hyper aware of everything that you put into your mouth. You might subconsciously be restricting, even if it's not like intentional, you might be restricting either physically and emotionally because of this fear of your body. But there's also another kind of pressure, which I don't think people talk about enough, but I definitely feel it. And I know that you might be feeling this too, which is the pressure to quote unquote hit your goals for the year. Like that feeling of time running out on your past goals. Chances are you either formally set some goals and intentions for 2025, or you did it subconsciously. And it's like as December rolls around, you start looking back and doing a review of your year and how you lived up to the goals that you had set or the things that you wanted to achieve. And it feels like now you have to catch up. Okay, now you have 1 month to do as much as you can to make up for the past 11 months. So not only are you now, it's so crazy, you guys. Why are we like this? But it's like, not only are you now having all of the pressure of like buying gifts for people and cooking and planning and navigating, like if you have kids, all of that, but then you're also putting so much pressure on yourself to make up for lost time, or you just are feeling bad and guilting and shaming yourself for not doing enough in 2025. So all of this perfect storm comes together to create a lot of stress. And if you don't have an outlet for that stress and ways to care for yourself and your nervous system, then again, food starts to take a lot of space in your life. So again, it's not a lack of discipline. The problem is not the food itself. It's really important to recognize, where is this coming from? What's the source of it? And the answer isn't, not bringing certain foods in the house or trying to control it or trying to restrict and avoid. Like that may work for a couple of weeks, but again, it's just a Band-Aid. So the idea is to at least plant the seed for yourself that you want to start tackling the root cause and addressing that, because that is what's going to set you up for long-term success in 2026 and beyond. All right, moving on to reason number 5, why food feels harder in December. And this one is the most obvious, which is food is everywhere. December is filled with holiday foods, parties, snacks at work, treats that are gifted to you, big meals, alcohol if you drink, sweets, and a million more foods that you are not used to eating, perhaps, and just like more food than usual. And if you're not sure how to navigate those kind of circumstances and how to handle those big meals, then it's going to feel a lot more challenging for you. But stay tuned, because I will be releasing an episode probably in 2 weeks at some point in December on how to handle big meals and holiday meals guilt-free, stress-free, and how you can enjoy food while still feeling really good. Because the thing is that holidays don't have to be synonymous with binging or feeling like crap or restricting or stress. For me, holidays, when I think of holidays, I don't think of food. Like, it no longer crosses my mind. You know how we have this like mental picture that gets formed? We create these associations. For you, you might associate certain mental pictures or certain words to holidays, and it might be food, it might be stress, it might be pressure, whatever it is. For me, food is not part of it at all. It doesn't feel any different than any other day because I go out to dinner all the time and I am in these environments where a lot of food is available often. So I don't see it as any different, and I don't overeat. It's very much like any other day. And so I want to teach you how I do that, I guess, some of the strategies and the mindset so that you can start embodying that as well. So stay tuned for that episode. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you get a little notification when a new episode gets released. And the last reason number 6, that food feels a lot harder in December is because of the last chance eating that quietly starts to sneak in. So what do I mean by quote unquote last chance eating? It's this subconscious belief that this is my last chance to enjoy this before I need to get my life together in January. So it's that switch that goes off in your mind of I'm off. Like I'm off work, I'm off responsibilities, and I'm also off, quote unquote, controlling my eating or watching my eating. So that's where the all or nothing mentality sinks in. So you eat more and it feels like a free for all. This was absolutely my behavior in the past. It was like, woohoo, well, now it's the holidays and I'm just going to eat whatever I want for 2 weeks and screw how I feel, and I can feel lethargic and I can feel like crap. It doesn't matter because this is about just eating as much as I can because I'm going to get my shit together in January. And it's this fear that your permission to enjoy food is about to be taken away that creates more overeating than anything else. This goes back to recognizing the importance of the things you tell yourself, what your mind is doing around food and around eating. This isn't about the food itself. This is about the way you are communicating with yourself. It just has such an impact. So that's why I hope that this episode is bringing some of those things up to the surface for you to see, to start evaluating, reflecting on, and to notice if any of these things are coming up for you. But whether you can relate to one or all of these reasons, it's really important to remember that there is nothing wrong with you. There is a lot going on in December. And if food has been a big part of your life when it comes to coping or numbing, or like that friend that you know is going to be able to comfort you and be by your side, then that can become louder during this time. So I would love to know. Send me a DM on Instagram at Sabrina Magno Health. Let me know, which of these reasons could you relate to the most? Which really spoke to you? I love hearing from you and knowing what hit in these episodes. And in January, I'm going to be doing a big free masterclass. And it's really going to be around setting you up for success and giving you the process that you need to know to heal your relationship with food in 2026. If you know that you want to stop this endless cycle of restriction and yo-yo dieting, it's not serving you, and this is not how you want to live the rest of your life, there is, like, I hate to agree with the fact that there's this momentum that gets created in January. There's this newfound fresh energy to create something different in your life. I definitely feel it. I am definitely going to be sitting down at the end of December, beginning of January, getting super clear on what are my goals? What do I want to achieve in 2026? How do I want to do things differently? And how can I support myself in order to bring these goals into my reality? I'm going to be using that fresh energy. And there is something about that collective energy that gives you the courage to do things differently. And I want to be able to support you in doing things differently. So I'm going to be doing a free masterclass, a big event in January. I don't have any info yet, but I am letting you know to look forward to that. And thank you so much for listening. I hope that this was valuable. Again, send me a DM. Let me know what resonated with you the most. I love you, and I believe in your ability to have a different December this year, to check in with yourself, to connect with yourself, to care for your nervous system in the small ways that you know how, right? We are not focused on perfection. We are giving ourselves grace because this is a crazy time of the year. Things are going to look differently, and this is not about optimization. That's what I told one of my clients last week on our call. I said, this is not about optimization. This is about taking care of yourself in whatever way you can and showing yourself some love. So please do that because I love you and I cannot wait to see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found it valuable, I would love if you would share it with someone you know that could benefit. If you're loving the show, don't forget to subscribe over on Apple Podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. I really love hearing feedback from you, so please leave a rating and review over on Apple to help us get in the ears of more people who need it the most. Finally, come hang out with me on Instagram at Sabrina Magnan Health for more educational content and get up close and personal with me. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next episode.